Before the Egyptians, the Sumerians, and all of the Mesopotamian civilizations, there was the antediluvian era, the pre-flood era, where 200 fallen angels descended and reigned as opposing gods, or false gods. Azazel, the leader, also known as Enki, would be ascribed all sin by the Anunnaki Council on Nibiru, according to Sumerians in several texts, and likewise, Azazel was ascribed all sin by Yahweh, God Almighty. Anu and Council and Sumerian accounts likewise ascribe to Enki all sin. With a couple of ancient writings to briefly quote from, we will learn of how DNA manipulation was used, and how this gene manipulation was carried out by lesser serpents, called the Igigi Greys, and by the fallen angels, or Anunnaki, with the women of the earth, and also the animals were used, and the fowl of the earth also. These hybrids would be called Nephilim and Nephilim in the book of Yahshua, but in the book of Enoch, they would be called Nephilim. In the regular Hebrew Bible, they would be called the Nephilim also. These would be ascribed or known as the evil spirits or demons of the earth. And evil spirits they would remain even until the latter days, the generation that is warned about by such as Enoch and Noah and many generations of the latter. These demons would possess and use biotech servants made in the days before the flood to assist and carry out work, while the parents or fallen angels would be bound to the depths of the earth for 70 generations, according to the book of Enoch. These biotech servants would be called the Igigi Grey Aliens. Enoch and Nostradamus talks about these Igigi, and as a pre-warning to the text about, or that you will hear from Enoch, that there's a shocking resemblance to the times that we are now in. So we will start with the text from the book of Enoch, of chapter 64. In those days Noah saw that the earth became inclined, and that destruction approached. Then he lifted up his feet, and went to the ends of the earth, to the dwelling of his great-grandfather Enoch. And Noah cried with a bitter voice, "Hear me, hear me, hear me," 3 times, and he said, "Tell me what is transacting upon the earth. For the earth labors, and is violently shaken. Surely I shall perish with it." After this there was a great perturbation on earth, and a voice was heard from heaven. I fell down on my face, when my great-grandfather Enoch came and stood by me. He said to me, "Why have you cried out to me with a bitter cry and lamentation? A commandment has gone forth from the Lord against those who dwell on the earth, said he, that they may be destroyed, for they know every secret of the angels, every oppressive and secret power of the devils, and every power of those who commit sorcery, as well as those who make molten images in the whole earth. They know how silver is produced from the dust of the earth, and how on the earth a metallic drop exists. For lead and tin, and they are not produced from the earth as the primary fountain of their production. There is an angel standing upon it, and that angel struggles to prevail. Afterwards my great-grandfather Enoch seized me with his hand, raising me up, and saying to me, "Go, for I have said, the Lord of spirits respecting this perturbation on the earth," he replied, "on account of the impity, have their innumerable judgments been consummated before me. Respecting the moons have they inquired, And they have known that the earth will perish with those who dwell upon it, and that to these there will be no place of refuge forever, respecting the moons that dwell upon it, because of the sorceries. Continuing on, they have discovered secrets, and they are those who have been judged, but not you, my son. The Lord of Spirits knows that you are pure and good, free from the reproach of discovering secrets. He, the Holy One, will establish your name in the midst of the saints, and will preserve you from those who dwell upon the earth. He will establish your seed in righteousness, with dominion and great glory, and from your seed shall spring forth righteousness and holy men without number forever. So this is just a little bit straight out of Enoch, the book of Enoch, as we have seen. And that was chapter 64 again. And it goes on further, speaking much more about the sins that these angels had committed upon the earth, and how they would be bound to the depths of the earth for 70 generations, and that Azazel was a scribe of sin. And there were secrets that were given to not just Enoch, but Noah and Methuselah. They would be writing down many words from God and inspirations from God and warnings to their children, and to the children of Seth were given many instructions. The children of Seth are not fallen angels, so do not let people confuse you on that. They are the children of Seth, and Seth is the second son after Abel had passed away, had been murdered by Cain. And so therefore Seth was then born, and his kids were doing pretty good there for a while and obeying God, Yahweh, for the longest time. And then they came down off the mount, so, and mixed with the children of Cain, and therefore got into the same sorceries that we are seeing in modern times. Now we will finish with reading from Nostradamus, and this is just a short part, and it is directly about Mars, and it is chapter 15 of Century 1, and the quatrain reads, Mars threatens us with the force of war, and will cause blood to be spilt 70 times. The clergy will be exalted and reviled, moreover, by those who wish to learn nothing of them. That means by people who don't want to learn their ways and such. Doesn't mean not to be educated about their presence and their existence, for they are definitely evil, and God would have you to be very warned about the dark things that's going on the earth without having to take part in them at all. But still you can be educated about them without channeling and doing sorceries that these evil people are doing, or involving yourself in the actual DNA manipulations that are taking place today. For that is such an abomination to God. It is disgusting, because we're messing with His creations that He made already, and then taking credit for it, and the lie that living forever that they will promise mankind that will get many to get involved with this, that they too can become gods. That lie is such a lie that none should ever really take heed in any type of form or fashion or way. So remember, these Igigi Greys were biotech servants created by the fallen angels in preparation for the time that they would be spending under the earth after they saw their sons murdered off. Throughout the times and civilizations, these gods would become known as the Baal gods that are present. Monarchies and super elite of the Illuminati and Freemasons and such are worshiping and trying to bring in to much more mass worship of their elite, which they plan on doing a mass kill-off of people that do not cooperate with their plan, and knocking the population down to less than 500 million people upon all Earth, and these are on the Georgia stones. There's all kinds of Illuminati symbols. Especially Google Earth has made sure to cover those images up. So be forewarned of these sorceries, things that are taking place. Not just the super elite, the bankers, the Rothschilds, and the Burks, Bush administration, the Obama administration, and such. And he himself possibly be the Nephilim, recreation himself, or a clone, which is a rumor that is a strong belief, because sometimes often we will find that truth is stranger than fiction, and that these things that Enoch and others like Nostradamus have warned us about are true, and that the Bible has a lot of truth still left in it. What parts hasn't been left out or manipulated? The Great Flood, of course, we've already proven that to happen. Our own science that tried to disprove God has always ended up proving Him instead, which the elite really can't stand for you to find out about. So realize that history has been mostly a lie. That there's a great threat right now, a false flag invasion plan. And that there will be a great catastrophe of fire. And a star is to fall from the earth. And there's a warning. So please join the troops of Christ, for He is the way, the only way, people. Thank you.